Hello, everybody. This is Kate here, and it's the July the 24th, 2009, and it is Aunt Helen's, a few days after Aunt Helen's 100th birthday. And we have Eleanor, Fred, and Darren, and Rebecca, John, and Sid Honey, and who are you? So today we're going to read a poem that D.D. Delaney wrote for his Aunt Helen. And first of all, John is going to give an introduction.
Hi, John and Carol. I guess you're getting all geared up for this weekend's big event. I'm sorry that I can't be there, but I'm just not in position to travel right now, but thankfully enjoy our nearby beach. Fritz and Kate came up with a suggestion that I write something for the party. A skit was talked about, which you could all act out, but I couldn't think of a good idea for one and came up with this attached, long poem instead. People could take turns reading parts of it. Breaks up pretty nicely in sections that way. I hope it doesn't bomb and that you all enjoy it as much as I enjoyed writing it. I wish you all the best time of your lives this weekend, and to Aunt Helen a very happy birthday celebration. Love, Jules.
Yay! Thank you. So Sid has the poem and she's going to begin.
July Reminiscences, in commemoration of Aunt Helen Ambler's 100th birthday celebration, by D.D. Delaney, nephew. As I rolled about today, as carefree as a child again, in the perky waves of the Chesapeake Bay, on old Norfolk's northern shore, I thought, ah, these July seashore waters, how congenial, how warmly human-friendly, how subtly tasting, soft and pure. My love for sea and surf and sand seemed wholly boundless and austere. I lost myself, forgot my age, my address and my name, as splashing, stroking, diving, twisting, bobbing, snorting, somersaulting, memories like flashcard frames clocked before my inner eye of how it was in days gone by. Every year, when come July, we made our plans to join his clan in the sprawling unit on the second floor of Mrs. Ludlum's Hastings house next to her hotel, which Dot and the Champ held secure for as many years as I can recall, by putting down an early deposit, and the extended family arrived for part or all of every July for years on end. Mary and Earl, Helen and Jack, Frank and Kitty, and our cousins. A frugal Protestant generation, come of age in war and depression, had little time or inclination to make too many babies. And I remember
the cribbage table in the big front room where the men played every day. Earl brought the game back from the war and taught us all to count and score, our points on a board with little pegs. Possibilities, cut me in right, 15-2 and 2 or 4. The champ's disgusted with the cards he's dealt, blames the dealer or the deck. He wouldn't want to earn his wrath by laying down a foolish card and giving points away. Sometimes competition got so tightly ratcheted, you'd think it was the Rose Bowl or the Stanley Cup at stake around that cribbage board. And I remember
fish for dinner every night, which the men went out at dawn to catch, flat flounder from Sinnepuxent Bay, or kingfish from the rolling surf. Aunt Ellie was our dinner cook in the most distant early days, in her apron and long cotton dress, her sleeves pushed up, sweat on her lip, a strand of wayward hair slipped from her bun and dangling by her cheek, as she piled the fried fillets on serving plates for the hungry crowd in the next room. Around the dinner table extended to its max, to seat a gang of 10 or 12 at least. After Earl gave the prayer of grace, blessings on thee, on these thy gifts, in Jesus' name, amen. All talked at once about their day, with the champ having the most to say, because he had the loudest bray. And I remember
the waffling scent of Noxema as the sun went down and the gathering brigade poured onto the boardwalk. The clip-cloppity tattoo of walking feet on wood as vacationers, summerly dressed, sunburned, or deeply tanned, families with kids and lovers on dates, strolled past our open front room windows on their way to treats and amusements just blocks away. Caramel corn, ice cream cones, peanuts and cotton candy, saltwater taffy for the folks back home, the pinball games and shooting gallery, the Ferris wheel, the bumper cars, the whip, the fun house, the merry-go-round, or a seafood dinner on the open deck of a hotel dining room. We'd sit watching in the windows after supper, or downstairs in the white wooden chairs with the big armrests, reserved by the boardwalk's edge, especially for the tenants of Hastings House. Then we'd join the flow towards the amusements ourselves, though it was rare you could get the champ to go. Sometimes in the evening the adults played bridge, and once tried to teach me the games so I could make my way better in society. Aunt Helen cried out when I lay down my hand, "Why, Frankie, you got a grand slam." I had no idea what she was talking about, but as there's no better hand you can get in bridge, I decided to quit while I was ahead. And I remember.
Cantaloupes, tomatoes, fresh ears of corn, Wheaties for breakfast by the champ's decree, newspaper peddlers hawking the headlines, stock market quotes of interest to all. Washington Star! I got a star! Get your Sun paper right over here! One day I peddled papers myself to earn some spare change to play the arcade. Baltimore News, Post, hey pa! There was one beach umbrella, striped green, orange, and white, meant for us all to share, but so many crouched under its limited shade, there was no room left for me to wedge in, and I got my first sunburn on the tops of my feet. One year we spent a long July day watching a hurricane pounding the surf. No fishing that day, but a surplus was stocked on the inside shelf of the fridge. We showered outside in the old wooden shed, where only cold water was fed, and came up the back stairs and hung our suits and towels outside the kitchen on the wash line overhead. No fans or AC, just the breeze from the sea, yet no heat ever seemed to disturb. Instead of TV, the radio served for news and sports from the outside world. Music was not usually preferred, but we heard the convention in '52 when Ike beat out Taft on the first ballot. And I remember.
I learned to ride a bike at the shore. I learned to swim and to fish. Are you growing up enough to bait your own hook with a minnow speared through the lips? I did it then, but never would again. I first hitchhiked a ride, first asked a stranger to dance, and met Tootsie, my best friend for a week, who, just newlywed to my cousin Fred, waited for his letters from the Korean front. In an earlier war, Earl and Jack were deployed, and we gathered without them those years. One year, cousin Walter, who coached me on ways to follow him out past the rough breaking waves, was away in the Army on the Puerto Rican beach, where he hardly had to work at all, and no one was worried that he might not return. And I remember.
As I rolled about today as carefree as a child again, in the bouncing waves of the Chesapeake Bay, I remember. No, I recapture that feeling again, that exuberance, that spirit, that surge of grace, to be free in July by the sea. No other month of the year is the same. It's the endless summer of grown-ups and kids playing together as one. My memory preserves those days as ideals. Those lucky enough to be born in July must know what it's like to feel home, as close as a touch, a wave, or a smile, where a strawberry shortcake or blueberry pie, a basket of peaches or fresh sliced tomato on an egg and cheese sandwich on rye is no trouble to fix, no trouble at all. Sit down and stay for a while. Isn't that sweet?
Oh, clap, clap, clap! Yay!
Well
Yay! Nice. Thank you.